we've all been talking about recent Xal'atath hits, Old Gods, Void, Voidlords, and no one is actually paying attention to the Felgods, Dreadlords, Legion soldiers being data mined in the new patch 10.1.7. We've just left the Burning Legion in the past as a defeated enemy. However, not only is that not true, we've only stopped their leadership, but we have just discovered a bunch of new demons that are making their own appearance pretty much out of nowhere. Even more interestingly, a Dreadlord, one of the strongest former Legion officers, is here, the ruler of an entire planet. With Sargeras missing, it is likely that the strongest warlords are vying for leadership, and we could be seeing Burning Legion 2.0 without Sargeras, reborn with a new leader and serving a new goal. Furthermore, as these are Dreadlords making all these schemes, it is also likely that Denatrius may be behind this. He could be coming back. Could he be looking to take over the remnants of the Legion with his Nathrezim army? What is all this new data mined information? Did you know if you lose your wallet, you can use this little tracker to find it through the app? Best of all, Extra, this video sponsor, has some really cool looking wallets. They got so many styles to choose from with premium leather and space grade aluminum. You got amazing key cases, also with trackers, and you got 12 months warranty. So make sure to check out my link in the description and use code DORON and get up to 25% discount. Check out Extra. There is one very important distinction we need to make, and that is that we have only imprisoned Sargeras and stopped the Legion. We didn't remove all the demons, we didn't destroy the Twisted Nether, we didn't even significantly cull their numbers where they're just irrelevant. What we did do is we laid waste to their main base of Argus, imprisoned their leader and creator, and we essentially eliminated the brain, the main commanding structure that was behind the Burning Crusade, which was inherently just a crazed Titan's mission. However, Sargeras is not the Legion, and now with the time skip, things have been brewing for quite a while, a few years, where they might actually start to get relevant again. As we know by the established lore, the demons have been a threat to the Warcraft universe since its inception. They had a certain type of primitive organizations, but they were always just inherently chaotic. So while you never had a giant army with spaceships and bases all over the universe, you had various raid parties where demons would just go from planet to planet and just wreak havoc. In fact, that is exactly what Sargeras was sent to stop back when he was a good Titan. If this was not a big threat at the time, then the Pantheon obviously wouldn't have to send a whole Titan, the strongest of them all, that is capable of splitting a world in half with one swing in order to stop them. They could have really just used their Titan Forge creation. So obviously demons without the Burning Legion, pre-Burning Legion, were a pretty significant threat. Now, the main thing about demons is that they respect one thing and one thing only, and that is power. They always punched up around the strongest warlords that constantly battled each other. Sure, these warlords were changed like every single day, since there was always a stronger one, but when Sargeras came in, freed them from a prison he made, there was no one else stronger than the Fallen Titan in the whole universe, and they respected him and followed him for thousands and thousands of years. However, even back in Legion, if you may remember, when defeat was imminent, you could see Kil'jaeden, for example, starting to disrespect and disobey Sargeras, so that mindset was kinda always there. Now, what Sargeras did was he got the bulk of the army, he went on to search for the smartest races in the universe to corrupt them, to get them to lead. That is how he got the Eredar and also the Dreadlords, although obviously the Dreadlords can now change, the lore is completely different. They were present since the start, they never even served Sargeras, they were all minions of Denatrius, as we've learned from the Shadowlands. Well, fast forward thousands and thousands of years, we have Dragonflight, and now the Legion, for the first time since the Legion expansion, is starting to make a move. We have two very powerful Dreadlords, not only infiltrating Azeroth and wreaking havoc, but also fighting between themselves, summoning Felgods and other demons who seem to be their followers that we have just data-mined in 10.1.7. As I said, while we defeated Sargeras, the main guy, a bunch of officers and local warlords remained, and they still had their own followers like private armies, and it is very likely that they have been infighting to recreate a brand new demonic army. Someone of the former Burning Legion definitely wants to be a new Sargeras. So right now in 10.1.5 and 10.1.7 from data information, we have Lord Bane Hollow and Lord Hel Nurat, two Dreadlords that have been in the game since forever that are now making a return since their last appearance in Legion. So during a New World questline, you might have actually ran into Lord Bane Hollow. This guy was back in WoW, like the original, back in Felwood, then he appeared in Cataclysm, then he was in the Black City on the Broken Shore during the battle for the Broken Shore. Now, he disguised himself as a a Warlock teacher on the Dark Moon Island, but what he really wanted was to steal the souls of the Warlock initiates, which, as you may guess, is probably some part of his plan to increase his power to get new souls, new minions, and rise in rank when compared to the other former Legion officers. Well, he fails, he's defeated in the Blasted Lands where he had escaped, and he says he will be back, which is always the case with the Dreadlords. This in itself is not really brand new info, however, we have also just data mined new stuff from 10.1.7, and that is the return of his biggest Dreadlord rival, and that is Lord Hel-Nu-Rad. This guy has also been in the game originally, and he has been present on the Broken Shore. This just goes to show how chaotic the minions of the Legion really are, but especially the Dreadlords, since they worked together but they were enemies, but now they're just enemies, and I'm guessing this might be a struggle for power that we aren't really aware of that has been happening within the former Legion ranks. Now, the thing about Lord Hel-Nu-Rad is that he is really a lord, not just a Dreadlord, but like an actual lord. He's one of the most powerful former officers of the Legion. He was the ruler of an entire fallen planet known as Zoroth, which is the home to the Dreadsteeds, which was like the stables of the Burning Legion, and he may just be the next one in line to inherit Sargeras' throne. We have so far discovered 3 minions from the new patch: Hel-Nu-Radian Eye, the Hel-Nu-Radian Felguard, and Hel-Nu-Radian Felmaw, which are, keep in mind, named after him, which obviously signifies his importance and that this is his army. We have also data mined a spell called Lord Bane Hollow Healing Increase, which is obviously going to be a part of an upcoming questline. So a lot of things could actually be happening. Some say that this could be a part of the new Forsaken Heritage questline, because the Forsaken Heritage questline says that an old enemy returns, and as you may know, the Forsaken really became the Forsaken when they freed themselves from the Natrazim, so the Natrazim may be seeking to get the undead under their rule once again. Even more interestingly, something could definitely be happening with Denatrius. As you may know, he was obviously left with a huge cliffhanger at the end of Shadowlands, which implied that he will be returning back once again. He was essentially freed, he doesn't really work for anyone but himself, as far as we know, and we also know he has a huge Natrazim army at his disposal, as they're all loyal to him. So Denatrius could be joining the Void, fighting against the Void. He could be trying to take over the remnants of the Scourge, or in this case, the remnants of the Legion, with his former Dreadlord officers, such as these two guys. However, there is barely any info that we could really speculate on from this, so it would be next to impossible to predict anything. But let's just say that Denatrius is still around, he's still relevant, and Blizzard said they want to continue using Denatrius. Furthermore, Sargeras and his Burning Crusade is currently more relevant than ever. We're all about removing Titan Order from Azeroth, we've hearing it all the time, and learning what really happened back in the day, and since we've learned about Sargeras from Titan sources, it is very likely that he knew something that we don't. He isn't dead, he's imprisoned by Illidan, and now we have the big void threat that is obviously happening with Xal'atath, and Sargeras' main reason for the Burning Crusade became a thing that was to stop the void, so it is also possible that we could be seeing Sargeras or Illidan at some point in the near future. However, though, the most interesting thing is that the demons could actually rebuild themselves. Keep in mind, thousands and thousands of years ago, they were just primitive beings of chaos that were pretty powerful, but they spent over 25,000 years as a part of a very powerful, very sophisticated army, which means that they're all now a lot more different than the original state. They're a lot more organized, so it is not impossible that some of the hyper-intelligent officers, especially the Dreadlords, could figure out a recipe on how to unite all the demons and to create a new Burning Legion. This time, not Sargeras' personal army that was built to serve his own goals, but we could see the army of Fel being created for the sake of fighting for the interests of the Twisted Nether that could become a significant cosmological player in the Warcraft universe. Or, since he's a Dreadlord, Denatrius could be turning them to his side. After all, he orchestrated the defeat by imbuing Argus with that magic, so why not just extend the plan and make it all about taking over the army, as that is really what Dreadlords do best. Thank you for watching. Check out Xal'atath's crazy plan and how we might lose for the first time ever in WoW by clicking on the screen, and check out Oran's Academy for videos on real-world history. See you next time!